Hey guys, it is me, Jacqueline. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books I plan on reading for the month of April. So if you guys want to see that, definitely keep on watching. Please let me know if you have read any of these books, what books you are planning on reading this month, and yeah, let's talk in the comment section down below. But of course, let's get on to this video. Today I'm actually posting two videos. So this is one of two videos you'll be seeing from me today. So I plan on not only having this video, but also my to keep or not to keep TBR for the month of April. For this month, I am planning on bringing a readathon that I started all the way back in 2017. It was a concept that I had when I first started kind of like bulking my collection, in which I set aside a maybe pile, break them down into TBR piles to read, and read them. I unfortunately didn't really do the best with that method, so I want to kind of tweak it a little bit more. I'm going to personally choose obviously the piles, but I do want to make certain months themes and such, but I really do want to focus on my huge and continually adding TBR sort of pile of books. So if you want to see more about the to keep or not to keep readathon, I'm going to leave my video on the screen as well as down below in the description box, but I'm just going to kind of quickly go through these books. I'll just kind of list them off, but if you really want to know why I decided to pick them up, or more importantly what these books are about, definitely check out that video. I think it's only like 6 or so minutes. I did want to make it separate from this though. So in no particular order, we have the first two books, which are the first two a part of the An Ember in Ashes series from Sabaa Here, which is a YA fantasy series. The first book we have is An Ember in the Ashes. I read this a few years ago, absolutely loved it. This will be a reread for me. And then the second book, which is the first time around reading for me, is A Torch Against the Night. We have the first two books a part of the Imperium series from Claire the Grand. It's actually a trilogy. So the first book is The Furyborn, and the second is The King's Bane. We are dealing with royalty aspects in here. It says the world will fall and two queens will rise. There's fantastical elements. I believe there's magic involved somehow, somewhere in this story. These two are huge. I feel like I'll probably read these towards the end of the month just because I really do want to get kind of the bulk out of the way. And I feel like these are heavier reads that I really do want to like invest time into. Moving along, we have The Young Elites, which is from Marie Lu. This is the first book a part of the Young Elites trilogy from Marie Lu, which features werewolves. It's a young adult trilogy. I also have the other two part of the trilogy down there. I talked about it in my to keep or not to keep video, but if I do decide that I love this book when I read it and I want to continue on with the second book and the third book, I definitely will. And the same goes for An Ember in the Ashes. If I do love the first two books, I will definitely continue on to the third because I own that as well. Continuing on with the young adult fantasy novels, we have Four Dead Queens, and this is from Astrid Shiloty. I think I did the exact same thing in my to keep or not to keep TBR, in which I could not pronounce this author's last name. Why do I struggle? But this is also a book I'm very excited for. I feel like I'm probably going to read this soon, if not like next week. And then the next two books we have are contemporaries. So the first is Bellamy and the Brute, and this is from Alicia Michaels. This is a fairy tale retelling about Beauty and the Beast, if you cannot tell from the whole entire vibe of the cover. Also, every single time I say the word Bellamy, and even when I was editing my wrap-up or my TBR for this readathon, I could not help but think about Bellamy Blake from the 100. I can't stop it. Every single time I say Bellamy, and I know Bellamy is the female in this novel, but I feel like when I read, the book is going to kind of like freak me out a little bit. The final book I have on my to keep or not to keep TBR for the month of April is How to Make a Wish, and this is from Ashley Herring Blake. Yet again, YA contemporary book. I believe this is a female to female love story, and I know there's a lot of like friendship, self-discovery in here. It takes place at a summer camp. So like I said, that was my TBR pile for the to keep or not to keep readathon. So if you do want to join, definitely join. I will leave the video yet again down below in the description box. Use the hashtag. I'll be using the hashtag on Twitter, here, Goodreads. You'll be seeing it a lot from me. So on top of those books, I also have 4 other books I wanted to read this month. As if I do think I will get through those books, but if I potentially do, or if I do feel like I need a few buffers, I felt like it was nice for me to add these into the mix because 2 were ones that I recently brought into my collection that I really want to read, and 2 are ones that I really do want to actually see if I want to keep. First 2 that I really want to see if I want to keep, I technically could have put a part of my to keep or not to keep TBR pile, but this will essentially start me for next month. So for next month's sort of TBR, I'm already planning ahead for May. Isn't that insane? I really do want to read an accumulation of YA contemporary novels, go through the ones I own and see which ones are my favorites and see which ones I really can pass along. The first 2 I have are from the same author, and they're both from Huntley Fitzpatrick, excuse me. So the first one is My Life Next Door, and the second one is What I Thought Was True. So I have read My Life Next Door. If you've been on BookTube, Goodreads, whatever for a while, you have probably seen this cover forever. This is one of like the OG contemporaries, I feel like way back in the day, like BookTube days, people would talk about, even Goodreads, I remember so many people talking about this as well. I really did actually enjoy this one. I read this years and years ago. I remember I read this in high school. So this is one of those things that I do want to see how I find it today, and I also want to read the sequel, or excuse me, not the sequel. This is just another book from the same author, but they kind of had that same format. I like to call it almost like a sister novel. I did talk about it in my book Unhaul. I can't really handle certain naiveness when it comes to particular characters' voices in novels, especially when it has come to young adult. For some reason, I feel like so many young adult main characters or protagonists, their voice, their narration, I just feel like it's very young for me and where I am in my life, and I don't even think I'm particularly older than even I was, or I don't think I'm even that much older than a lot of these people, but for some reason the mindsets that they are written in are just way too young for me to feel like I can really get into the characters. So let me know if you guys would be interested in me kind of doing a ranking of some sort for YA contemporaries. Now the last 2 books I have, yet again, I have just recently hauled, so if you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave it up in the card as well as down below, and these are the 2 books I will be reading for the month of April. So first is Crave, and this is from Tracy Wolff. This actually comes out on April 7th of this year, so I'm planning on reading. I will also have a review up when this book comes out, which is yet again April 7th. So this is a YA paranormal vampire novel. It's giving me a lot of Twilight vibes, I'm not gonna lie. There's even a quote in here that says, "This is this generation's Twilight." So I have to read her. If you're going to mention Twilight, I need to read it. I need to see what it's about. I just have to. Final book I have is Keystone, which is from Katie Delanty, and this has been described to me as a crush to enemies romance, and our 2 main characters are in a school of thieves, and there's like a technology issue going on, and they have to like infiltrate some sort of like web fixture. I have no idea, but of course I definitely want to find out. So this is my April TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know yet again if you have read any of these books, if you want me to do reviews on these books, or what books you are reading for the month of April or plan on doing. So I will see you guys in my next video, which will be tomorrow. I will have 2 videos up tomorrow, and I will look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye guys!